This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shouts. Have had nothing but technical issues since yesterday. Last week was awesome. Loved last week. We had a really good show. No technical issues. So I turned on my broadcast machine and I started doing preparations for tonight's show. And I've had nothing but issues. So I was up until like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then here I'm playing my intro music and it's like everything's blanking out and the audio's going away and I'm like, oh no! And I had a freaking cable that was kind of kinked over. So, hi everybody, welcome. This is Kicking It with Kaz here on WTF Nation Radio, broadcasting live from the Mark Zuckerberg School of Love and Tolerance. How you doing? How you doing, everybody? Let's ohm it out together.
Mark Zuckerberg.
I'm really wishing this was vodka right now, but it's not. It's just freaking water. Got to stay hydrated. Dude, it is 85 degrees today.
85 degrees?
85 degrees right now. We got some thunderstorms popping off just north of me.
Jeez, see, we're today we actually are cooler. We've been up in the 60s all week, and then yesterday it went down a little bit. Today I think it's in the low 50s, high 40s.
That's awesome. I miss those days. I think those days are gone. I don't think we're going to get too many of the 30 degree, 40 degree mornings, it's fine.
Uh-huh.
It's fine. I'm prepared for summer, so it'll be all right, man. It's just, hey, we got a special birthday today.
Really? Who?
Very special birthday today. Harry Houdini.
Harry Houdini.
Today is Harry Houdini's birthday.
Wow.
I have a graphic. And there's Harry Houdini. Everybody knows he's a magician and an escape artist. And had he survived and lived, he would have been 145 years old today.
That would have been a feat.
That would have been a feat, exactly. He was, and I didn't know. I mean, his name obviously was not Harry Houdini. It was not his given name. His given name is Eric Weiss.
Eric Weiss?
Eric Weiss. Weiss. E-R-I-K is his first name, and W-E-I-S-Z is how you spell his given last name. He was born in Budapest in 1874, and he emigrated to the United States with his parents at the age of 2 years old.
Wow. You think about all, a lot of people accomplish a lot of things over the years. He's one of them. He really went with things.
Right, and even on his biography, he is listed as an American. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. That is really cool. I mean, you just think about all these famous people and all the things that they've done in life. And especially back then, sometimes it just kind of blows your mind away when you think about it all.
I mean, times were a lot tougher back then. Of course, technology obviously wasn't there. But if you wanted to make something and if you wanted to support your family, you had to do something. You had to be something. And I don't know much of Houdini's personal background, but he obviously did things right.
Yeah, I mean, I remember there being movies made about him and what he believed, and how he followed. Or what he followed and what he believed in throughout his career as a magician, not beforehand. So you have to wonder. You really do have to wonder what he did beforehand.
So he died from what he had like some kind of an injury or a laceration to his pancreas.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think that's how that went. I'm not for sure. I'm not a magician type dude. I like to go see magic shows, but it doesn't. It's not one of those things that interest me. So I don't learn a whole lot about it. But just learning a couple of things last night when I found this day in history type things, and it's Harry Houdini's birthday. So happy birthday, Harry!
Happy birthday, Harry!
So we had a blood moon last week. Were you able to not a blood moon, a super moon, a big honking super moon?
Yeah.
So there were some celebrations.
Yes.
Because it's the last super moon of 2019. So there were some video in Los Angeles that I'm going to show you right now. People were thinking, "Oh my gosh, it's a meteor or the aliens are landing," and it just kind of looked it was kind of crazy just the way that flame was coming down, and then it went past the building and then kind of leveled out. It didn't really level out, but it's kind of it just flew kind of funny. So immediately I was thinking, all right, there's something more to this. And after a day or so, it finally came out. That thing, okay, and here's the story, just to bring you guys up to speed. A bright light over downtown Los Angeles this week that had people around the city wondering if it was a meteor or aliens were descending into Southern California turned out to be a stunt by Red Bull Air Force to celebrate the final supermoon of 2019. As the third and final supermoon of 2019 rose over the Los Angeles skyline, the Red Bull Air Force marked the occasion as only they can, by springing into the air and getting an up-close personal look at the phenomenon. The team jumped from a helicopter at 4,000 feet above the city of Angels and dove down at more than 120 miles an hour in custom wingsuits. This was the first wingsuit jump into downtown L.A., according to Red Bull. The Los Angeles Police Department took to Twitter to calm public fears. Public service announcement. It says, a meteor did not crash into downtown Los Angeles, and no, it's not an alien invasion. It's just a film shoot. This is Tinseltown, after all.
Jeez.
So, I mean, you got a bunch of batshit crazy people in California anyway, so, you start seeing funny stuff in the sky. You've got Air Force bases and stuff. They're always launching missiles and spaceships and whatnot, so you never really know what you're going to see off the west coast of this great nation of ours. But I think that's pretty badass.
Yeah, it is. I was going to ask you, so how has your week been?
Well, I'm glad you've asked.
I'm glad I did.
I had this is one of my short weeks, so I had Thursday off. I'm sorry, I worked Thursday, I had Friday off. So it was a 3-day weekend. I get one of those every other week, usually.
Yeah.
So preparing for everybody knows and is sick of the story of me working on my house. I bought this house, it's a fixer-upper. So I'm finally at the point now where I can start bringing in new kitchen appliances. So I bought a refrigerator and a stove, and what else did I buy? Oh, a microwave. So I was preparing all of that cool stuff, and delivery guys showed up. I was first on. I said, "Dude, I'm going to be up early on Saturday morning anyway." So they were here at 8:00 in the morning on Saturday. Brought in the refrigerator, set up the water line going to it, and then the water didn't work, and it was a problem with the refrigerator. So I bought this fucking expensive hell refrigerator.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. It chills the food, it freezes the food, but there's no water. I wanted an ice maker and a water thing. So he's just like, well, we're gonna have to call to see, because I'm like, okay, I'm ready to refuse the shipment, and you guys order me another one. And they're like, no, because I mean, who wants to repackage a refrigerator to take it back and then they don't get their money?
Exactly.
So I called. I bought it from Home Depot. So I called Home Depot, and they got in touch with LG,
Mm-hmm.
and LG was just like, okay, we're going to send you another refrigerator. It'll be there next Saturday.
Oh, gee.
But keep the one you've got, because it's refrigerating and it's freezing. So
Okay.
it was either that or they're going to unpack the refrigerator that I just got rid of. So I have a brand new refrigerator that doesn't have ice or water.
Okay.
They installed the oven. The oven's awesome. The microwave, they wanted me to pay $130 for them to install it.
Oh, gee.
I'm like, I think I can handle this. I've done microwaves before, the over the range microwaves.
Yeah.
So I did. So I took the old one out, and the guy's like, "Hey, do you want to donate it?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to have fun with this. I'm actually going to remove the transformer in it, and play with it for a little bit, because that's what sane people do. They play with microwave transformers."
Yeah.
I think the input's 110 volts at 8 amps, and the output is 20,000 volts at, I want to say a half an amp. So, I mean, who can't have fun with that? I've got a neon sign transformer in the garage that I play with. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. If you know what you're doing, it's a lot of fun. If you don't know what you're doing, you can really not have a good day.
Things that cause you just to have fun.
So I need a hobby, but I have. I ended up, I put it in. I've put in microwaves before. I'm like, I'm just going to take this old one out. The new one's probably going to fit right there on the bracket that's on the wall. It's like a hinged bracket, and then it screws in through the cabinet that's above it.
Yeah.
Of course, the holes don't line up. The
Of course.
holes, and I could tell when I took that microwave down, and I'm looking at the underside of the cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
This is the fourth microwave that's been in this house.
Oh, gee.
I drilled the fourth set of holes above the cabinet.
Hey, hello, Michelle. Good to see you.
Hola, Michelle. We're talking about microwaves and stuff.
And stuff. See, I had to replace my microwave in my camper, and so I can relate, because with that it had its own trim, and you had to do all these things to it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just pull it out and put it in.
You would think you would, and that there
Yeah.
would be some kind of an industry standard, so you don't have to keep on drilling holes in your cabinetry.
Yeah.
But I had to change out the mounting bracket that goes on the wall. I had to drill new holes in the cabinet, above. I didn't have to do any work with the ducting, because the ducting was already in the configuration that I needed. So that was good. But it was, it's me and my daughter trying to put this thing in. She's got to hold this thing up, and I'm trying to locate the holes. The template, the template was good for the wall, but it wasn't good for underneath the cabinet, because there were so many not flat spots. There's like a 3/4 inch recess, which is the cavity between the cabinet and the microwave. So I couldn't really accurately locate the holes. I ended up doing it anyway. Problem solving. This is first world problems, dude. I've been bitching about, this day sucked and that day sucked, and the thing is, it's all first world problems.
Well, we got some more people rolling in. Hello, Holly. Hey, Ross. And hello, Bailey.
Hola, Holly and Bailey. I'm practicing my Espanol. I think I'm doing pretty bueno.
Yeah, bueno.
So, I do mean that, first world problems. Everything that I've been bitching about is really first world problem. There's so many other people that have it worse off or not as good. And here I am bitching about having the ability to get new appliances for my kitchen and to buy a new microwave. And, I can't locate the holes in my air-conditioned house here. It's petty. It's absolutely petty.
Such woes of that of a homeowner.
It beats the hell out of living in an apartment.
I will grant you that. I will go with that, most definite.
Yes, sir. So, how was your week?
Sounds like it was a tad bit better than yours.
Okay.
Excuse me. I've been streaming on Twitch for Grunt Gaming Network, and then I also do it on my page. I had a little bit of a busy week. In Washington State, you are allowed to have studded tires during the winter.
Okay.
Well, that only goes until the 1st of April. And so rather than do it at the very last minute and hope there's time, or hope that nobody, there's not a line, I went ahead and did it this week, and things just went so swimmingly smooth.
I'm sensing a little bit of sarcasm.
No, that's the thing.
What?
This week was everything went smoothly.
Wow. That's good. I'm very, very happy for you.
The thing is, and this is okay, the downside to all this is I've been very busy, and I'm with my medical problems. I'm just starting to get energy. I've talked about how improving. I've not been so good, and now I'm doing better, and so on and so forth. Well, that includes I'm starting. I have to build my energy back up. I have to build my capability of going out and doing things physically.
Have you tried cocaine?
I don't think that would be too good for me.
I'm not a doctor or a law enforcement professional, so don't take any advice that I give you along those lines. Please continue.
But it ended up the whole week really tired me out. I mean, every day I had something going on. Every day I had commitments I had to take care of. And by Saturday, I was ready to rest, but I still, because next week, after next weekend is payday, I went ahead and wrote out my bills so I can put them in the mail and I don't have to try to write them out this week or next weekend.
Do you actually write checks?
Yes, I do.
I don't. I write very, very, very few. I've got an old address. Here's my checkbook right here. And I've got an old address on there because I moved from an apartment to a new apartment. The reason I moved is because they super duper up my rent, and I'm just like, screw this. It's not worth it. So I got a new apartment. Of course, I had just received new checks, and I had just changed the address on my driver license. So I moved into this other apartment in North Fort Worth and stayed there for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I got new checks and a new driver license. So this is driver license number 2. Then I moved from there late June, early to mid July. Moved here.
It hasn't been that long, has it?
It was 6 months, 8 months. But I informed you don't have to change your driver license.
Yeah.
It just makes sense, and you don't have to. I mean, when you try to if the neighborhood was on fire and they're like we can't let anybody else in here except for people who live here, that would be a problem. Or if you get pulled over, you have to explain, no, this is not my current address. My current address is this address here. You can actually go to the DMV website and say, this is no longer my address. This is my new address. So if they were to ever run my driver license number, it comes up with this address, even though it says something completely different on there. And that helps for voting as well.
Yeah.
You can vote with your driver license just as long as because it shows what precinct you're in and all that other cool stuff.
Well, good. So So you've informed them. When are you going to change your driver's license?
Sometime soon. But anyway, checks, and that's where this all came from. With checks, I don't write any checks. Everything I usually do is online.
I've thought about doing the whole online thing, but I've seen so many people have so many problems with identity theft and password problems. I decided to just go ahead and, I mean, it's 11 checks that I've got to write every month. And that doesn't bother me. In fact, it kind of makes me mindful of where time is going.
I've got, I used to write one check every couple of weeks. That was to my ex-wife, just for stuff for my daughter that actually lives up there with her.
Yeah.
But even that, I use, it's not PayPal. It's, oh crap, my phone's over there. It's just another one of those send your friends money type of accounts. It's actually from it's a part of the people who have PayPal.
Yeah.
It's a spinoff. It's a spinoff of what PayPal is. PayPal is more for business. This is more for just personal. We went out for pizza and want to split the bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's how you can send money.
So you see, you're more up to date than I am when it comes to the whole transaction thing.
Yes. Yeah. Everything's online, man. And it sucks, and it sucks, and it sucks, and it sucks. I used to be totally against credit cards, and if you don't have the cash, you don't need it.
You know, now here's the funny part. Okay, this is it's gonna date me. Okay, I remember when debit cards were being tested. They actually were testing them through the military overseas. I was in Europe, and I was with American Express Bank.
Okay.
And they actually brought in debit cards and ATMs, and they tested them in Frankfurt.
I really don't remember any of that. It happened during my life. I just didn't pay attention to it. It just evolved, and I adapted, and I just don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember credit cards when they used to just go ka-chunk chunk. You know, it wasn't an automated process.
Exactly. No, I remember this because I was stationed over in Europe. I was stationed in Frankfurt, and this came out, and everybody's. It was we were told these are basically like checks. You use them like checks. Write down your balances, because if you sit there and you think, it says I have balance in my account, just because it says it doesn't mean it's true, because back then it could take 2 to 3 days for the balance to catch up to the ATMs.
Everything is so immediate right now.
Exactly.
But I bet you if you go to any military installation, you'd be able to float a check for a pizza. Pizzas, man. The pizza guy walking around at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. All these drunk soldiers in the barracks that are broke, floating checks for a $5 or $10 pizza.
Yeah.
Those were the days. I used to be one of those guys.
I remember the day before you get paid, it's like, I can finally write a check. It's going to take at least a day to get into the bank.
No, not anymore, man. Not anymore.
No. And see, that's funny. I remember that stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of people these days don't understand the whole technology with the ATMs and stuff. It really is not that. It really is not that old. I mean, and it was tested on soldiers. Of all things, they tested the ATMs on us. I actually called my parents and said, have you ever heard of ATMs? And they're like, no.
Then your dad goes ass to mouth. What?
Mm-hmm. Now he's just sitting there going, what is that? And I said, it's this machine that gives you money. You use kind of like a credit card. And he's like, oh, be careful.
Yeah, right.
So, no, I remember that stuff quite well.
Yeah, I used to be a
For the
big fan of not spending money unless you had it. So there was like
Exactly.
no credit. I had there's the credit things that you need. You got to pay for a car and pay for a house, but I was totally against anything other than cash. And then after doing research and just living life, I mean, you have to have some kind of debt. I mean, your life and what you can do is based upon your credit worthiness. And how do you get credit worthiness? You have to go into a little bit of debt and then you pay it off.
Exactly. And then I finally came around to that, but it took me a long time because, I mean, I was taught debt is a horrible thing.
Uh-huh.
If you have debt, it will hang on you and you could end up in trouble.
Or you get used to being in debt. You get
Exactly.
used to always having a car payment or always paying for a credit card or paying a balance on a credit card. But it's just really weird because even I haven't used my credit card for several years, and my credit rating actually went down. I'm paying my balance off. I'm not using my credit card. My balance is going down, but so is my credit rating. I mean, it's not dropping through the floor, but
No.
it's not 760 or 780 or 800. It's going down incrementally because of the lack of use of revolving credit. So I bought this house, and then my credit rating went up.
Exactly.
I transferred my balance. I transferred my balance to another credit card. It's a 0% interest credit card.
Yeah.
So I got another big jump because I paid off because I took my balance and I transferred the balance to this other credit card. So that showed that, oh, he just paid off this credit card. Boom, there's another bump. I didn't really do anything special.
But they're thinking that you did.
Yeah, I mean you gotta use your credit, or else it's gonna go. Your rating's gonna go down. That's nuts. It's really nuts the way that it works.
I have revolving payments on certain things like internet services that I use, and I have that go to my credit card, so I have to pay on that monthly.
There you go. Yeah. So it's not like you're not using your credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore, it shows something, and I don't have to worry about them going, oh, you're not using your credit. So
Right.
Anyway, we're going to teach everybody about credit.
When I was your age. We're rambling. Hey, you want to get to the first other story? Your first story?
Sure do. What insurance policies holders do in their daily lives may not be so private. If you are posting any information publicly online, your insurance company could be using it to determine your coverage. Posing in front of a great white shark and dangling your feet off the side of a helicopter, those types of pictures may get you likes on Instagram, but only dislikes from your insurance company, which could consider it dangerous, especially for claims they look into social media, looking to see if someone's driving a motorcycle without a helmet or posting pictures drinking and smoking. Experts say searching your online presence could become a standard practice of the insurance underwriting process that could affect life insurance, car insurance, home insurance, and even pet insurance. For example, posting while driving could label you as a distracted driver and impact your policy renewal. Sharing your family's vacation online, insurers could claim that you put your home at risk to burglars. Even snapping a selfie with your new dog without disclosing the pet could affect your home insurance. Variables like pets can impact your underwriting, especially certain breeds of pets. In January, New York State issued new guidelines. New York, here we go, to protect consumers and requires insurers to prove when social media data use is justified. Nowadays, everybody just posts a selfie without knowing what could happen. Resident Alfredo Rodriguez said, We need to be careful about what we post to social media anyway. That's the reason I don't use Facebook at all, said Anya Rastaji. But tech experts say they may actually be a few things you can do to clean up or reverse your profile. Posting things like running a marathon or doing exercise. That's it. If you're looking to improve your life insurance coverage, not if you claimed an injury. But most importantly, insurers say always be honest with your providers. Insurers say, especially if you filed an injury claim, no picture should be popping up of you parasailing or skydiving.
No kidding?
No kidding, right?
I wouldn't mind being an insurance fraud investigator. That would be an interesting job, I think.
My wife actually, she works in insurance. She actually knows the insurance fraud investigators. And she says some of the stuff that people try to pull, it's just outrageous, and it's so costly because they'll sit there and they'll claim these things, and then it costs money for someone to go and check, and it doesn't always happen right away. So they start making payments, and then all of a sudden he looks into it and he's like, "Whoa, Nelly!" And he sees something that, okay, this guy says that he's injured, but like they say, now he's taking a picture doing something where he looks perfectly fine.
I want to know what Michelle Erickson has on her Facebook page. She says it's time to take down pics.
Right? You do have to be careful. Social media is a crapshoot. I have friends who have kids, and the first thing I say is, why in the world would you be posting pictures of your kids unless it's with you only? And even then, be careful, because one, there are pedophiles out there. And two, you don't need other people being able to identify your kid. Back when you and I were kids, that isn't something you did. You didn't sit there and, take multiple pictures of so many things going on in your life. That's for you.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn. I like to brag about my kids, and their successes and stuff, but I'm like, I need to keep that crap offline. If you look at my Facebook profile, it's really, really boring. It's like, I breathe air and I go to work. And I eat sometimes. Like I'll make something on the grill that looks freaking fantastic. Yeah. But most of the time I'm posting memes and jokes and stuff.
I'm about the same way. The only thing I show
is cats. It's all Owl just does cats.
I do cats because I want to give people a chance to smile. If you see a cute little kitten, it's very hard not to smile.
I send you ammo.
Yes. And that's just it. Is I keep my profile very low on Facebook because it's too easy for people to use things against you. And I mean, okay, you sit there and say, well, I don't have anything to worry about. You may not, but someday you may. All it takes is you ending up in a divorce. All it takes is getting injured or something. And Lord help if you go for a job. These days, you go for a job, they go check your social media.
If your social media is accessible. I mean, if your stuff is on private and it's only accessible to people who are on your friends list, you probably have nothing to worry about.
That's true. That's very true. But so that's just things to think about. And it's a good story, and it does open up doors, because if you think about it more and more, as people become social, what's the best way to investigate people?
Social media. I mean, because it does seem kind of sneaky and underhanded, but it's using using stuff that's already out there in the ether anyway. You're putting all this stuff out there, so there's no copyright towards it. It's out there for everybody to see.
Exactly. And that's a lot of people forget that.
Or I'm sorry, I didn't mean copyright. There's no implied privacy.
No,
You start putting everything out online. There's no expectation of privacy.
And the more you do it, the more you are just pegging yourself as this or that. It shows patterns. Well, employers use it, and now insurance companies, you can't blame them. They've got to investigate. They have to know if someone is out there defrauding.
Now, I think this is a state-by-state thing, but I know some employers are like, okay, what are your social media accounts?
Yes.
Make a list of your social media accounts. I've never been asked that personally, but I've heard that it does happen. I would probably have a problem with that. Not that I'm not a wild and crazy dude, man. I'm pretty benign, but I don't think it's any of their business. I do work in the defense industry, but there's nothing to see there.
Well, and that's the idea. I mean, I'm careful. I'm even careful on who I talk to. If I think someone's going to put stuff on my page that I don't want there, I'm careful not to let them there. And yes, we are watching you, A1 Commo.
I do have, I mean, of all the people that are on my friends list, I don't have like a million friends or nothing like that. It's just they will post something and they'll tag me in a post. I have to approve that in order for it to show up on my timeline, or for it to show up anywhere. It's just I'm a fairly private person. I don't need my junk hanging out there. You know what I mean?
And I agree with you. So something to think about for the future, so that everybody remembers. More and more, the more you put out there, the more you're going to be seen. So just something to consider, everybody.
So everybody knows I bought a house and I'm working on it.
Oh, yes.
When I bought this house, before I even made an offer, I must have visited this house once on my own. The first time, of course, was with my realtor. I walked through the house. I went up in the attic. I looked at everything. I made sure that I knew what I was going to be getting into. There's a couple in Scotland. I think it's Scotland.
Scotland?
That didn't really do their homework.
Due diligence?
I guess. Yeah, their due diligence. A young couple tried to buy a 2-bedroom apartment for $39,000. But they ended up with a derelict mansion by accident after a mix-up with the auction number.
Gee.
Cal Hunter and Claire Sagarin found themselves with a 120-year-old property after trying to pick up a Glasgow apartment for a discount. Cal didn't realize the property he ended up with was being sold in 3 lots instead of 1. So he put in his bid a little bit too early by mistake. The pair called the mix-up a beautiful mistake after falling in love with the crumbling James Wood Villa in Dunoon, Scotland.
Wow.
Their goal is to turn it into 3 separate apartments to rent 2 out so they can pay off their mortgage. Cal is 26 years old, says, "We love the house and its stunning location in a village on the edge of a Scottish loch. It's all been a big, beautiful mistake. If we can tackle this, we can tackle anything. It's going to take us much longer than a year, but just think of the life skills we're going to learn along the way." Claire was in her native Canada at the time of the auction, revealed that the pair are now living on site in a van as they battle to turn the manor around. She said finding a new problem seems to be a daily occurrence here at James Wood. It has taken us until now to find the electricity cable that'll allow us to hook up the mains. Our van was getting stuck in the mud, so we put down a driveway, but we had to dig it up a week later to find the elusive water supply.
Oh, jeez.
Look at these pictures, man. That place is wrecked.
Oh, wow.
The house needs a new roof, but a civil engineer said that the walls probably won't be strong enough to hold it up, so you have to fix them first. And now you're going to have to risk the rain coming through the roof to ruin them. It's like a huge catch-22 jigsaw puzzle. Quote, you would think that this would have put us off, but it hasn't. We may have bought the wrong house, but to us it was a happy accident, one which we are embracing rather than despairing over.
Wow.
Good luck, man. I mean,
yeah.
I bought this house knowing that it was a house. Everything needed to change. I knew it. I knew it going in. I saved up money. I got some relief from the person who was selling it, who gave me an allowance for repairs to be done on the house. I knew it was coming. I did most of the work myself.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, geez.
So,
now, I mean, the roof thing, okay, so you get a bunch of tarps and throw them up there and bind them down. But still, that is just, I mean, that would be, I mean, if you like doing that type of stuff, it would be heaven. But then you've got to have an income of some sort to be able to pay for all the work that you've got to do. Even if you're doing it all yourself, you still have to come up with the materials.
Right. And you can get construction loans. I'm not sure how things work in Scotland. I mean, here you can get construction loans. It's easy, dude. You show up with a pulse and a source of income, and people will be lining up to give you money.
Yeah.
During a construction loan, all you have to do is you pay interest. You just pay interest on the loan.
Yeah.
So, well, and that's how I'm getting new windows in the house. I took a construction loan out. I'm paying interest on the loan for 6 months, and then the loan gets finalized, and then whatever the balance is the balance that I'm financed.
Okay. So did you get the $20 or $30,000 windows?
I did not.
Okay.
I purchased the windows that I thought I could recoup the cost of when I sell this place.
Okay, there you go. There you go. You know, the problem with living over there is everything there is kind of like California. You need a permit for almost everything, and that's where the hidden cost of all that work.
I learned a new thing, and I'm not sure about how it is in other states, but if you're going to put in windows in your house here in the state of Texas, or at least in the city of Fort Worth, you have to have a building permit to do that.
Really?
Yeah, I did not know that. It's not as simple as just knocking out windows and putting in windows.
See, I actually checked. I actually had a window replaced here. What was it, January?
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a good time to replace your windows in your part of the country. I've heard.
It actually was a good time because it was this house was built in 1958,
mm-hmm.
and that window was from 1958. It was a very old glass window that had no ability to keep heat in. And believe it or not, I replaced that window, and my heat bill went down.
And I'm hoping for that when I get these windows replaced, that my electric bill will definitely decrease. Because these windows in my house are original.
Yeah. And they do help. I mean, that the window we put in there, I within a month I saw a change in our bill just that quick. But no, I mean, that house is beautiful, but man, I can see where if you're into that kind of thing, great. But you'd have to have a good income to be able to pay just for the materials alone. And again, you're talking overseas. A lot of those countries permits. Exactly. Yeah, Michelle, Florida, you have to have permits for almost everything you do to your house. You have to get inspected.
Yeah, Ross says he puts a piece of printer paper in the window. That's his permit.
There you go, Ross.
No, it just comes up like when you do like if you want to refinance your house, they say, okay, your house is worth this much. Oh no, but I've got brand new windows and all these other changes and stuff. I'm like, okay, let's we're going to reassess your house. Can you show us the permits for those?
Yeah.
So then you get dinged on that. So I try to stay in the lines.
Yeah.
So nothing comes back and bites me in the ass when I try to sell this house.
Ross brought something up. And I know the pain. PA. He said we need permit to replace a water heater. I actually ran into that here.
Yep, we need one here in Texas.
They actually have to put a earthquake resistant band around our water heater, and that has to be inspected.
I haven't heard that before. An earthquake resistant band around your water heater.
Yeah, so if there's an earthquake, the water heater is only able to move so much, and it has to be banded to something that is not going to move.
The plumbing of the house isn't strong enough to hold up your water heater?
No, we're talking, in other words, it's down in the basement and it sits there by itself, and it has to actually have something. The water heater is stable, but they're saying we don't want it to fall if there's any kind of real earthquake, because that could be dangerous. So they actually make you get it banded to your foundation or something of that nature, and then it has to be inspected by a city official.
I understand that. Ours here are. I had a house built in South Fort Worth. This is, I don't know, 20 years ago or so, and it just had a water heater was in the garage, and it is what it is. When it came time to sell the house, it had to be let me see if I remember this correctly. The hot water heater needed to be replaced. So I wanted to make the house more sellable. So I went and did the right thing. I had a professional come in because, there's a lot of, you got to solder the pipes on there, and it was gas. So you had to have, some guy come in out there and connect the gas the correct way, and to have it all within spec so it can be bought off and make the city happy.
Yeah.
From the time that I bought my house to the time that I tried to sell my house, the rules had changed. The rules changed from, you can here's how you put a water heater in, to the water heater had to be at least 18 inches above grade. Mm-hmm. So they had, when I replaced it, they had to replace it in accordance with whatever the current rules were.
Yeah.
So that it was a simple, a few $100 for a hot water heater, and then several $100s in labor for them to bring my house up to code so they can install the water heater.
Exactly. I had thought about doing the water heater myself, mm-hmm. and I have a friend, and we could have done it, but I was just at that point I was still having problems with some things. So I said, you know what? I know a plumber. He's not expensive. And he said, no. He said, due to the new state code, this is the way we now have to do it. He said, if you had done it yourself, it would not have been a problem. But because you pulled me in, I have to do it this way.
I get that. And electricians have the same. That's why I don't do freelancing electrical work, because I'm bound by the National Electrical Code. And if they want me to do something that's either not within code, or in order to do this, I need to bring this a certain section up to code or install it per code, it just ends up causing a lot of static between me and friends that are wanting me to do work for them. I'm like, hey, if I'm going to do this, you have to do these other 4 things that you hadn't planned on. So your $50 addition is going to cost you $1,000.
Yeah, exactly. And one comment says, if your foundation moves 3 feet, but the heater is still attached to the wall, does that count against you?
No, but whoever made the band gets extra special points for doing the right thing.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to move on to the next story.
Righteous.
A Russian tourist attempting to smuggle a drugged orangutan out of Indonesia in his suitcase to bring home and keep as a pet has been arrested in Bali.
I can't imagine.
I can't either. It's like, really? Andrei Zukov was detained at the airport late on Friday while passing through a security screening before a planned flight back to Russia. Suspicious officers stopped him and opened his luggage to find a 2-year-old male orangutan sleeping inside a basket. We believe the orangutan was fed allergy pills, which caused him to sleep. We found the pills inside the suitcase. Zakov seemed prepared like he was transporting a baby. The 27-year-old also packed baby formula and blankets for the orangutan.
Well, there you go. He knew what he was doing.
Very much so. It's not like the thing just crawled into a suitcase. The police also found 2 live geckos and 5 lizards inside the suitcase. He wanted to start his own little zoo. Zakov told authorities that the protected species were gifted by his friend, another Russian tourist, who bought the primate for $3,000 from a street market in Java. Ooh, that wouldn't sound a little sketchy in and of itself.
Dude, if Dmitry says it's okay, it's okay. Dmitry knows his shit.
He knows his shit. Yup. He claimed his friend, who had since left Indonesia, convinced him he could bring home the orangutan as a pet. The Russian could face up to 5 years in prison and $7,000 in fines for smuggling. Orangutans are a critically endangered species with only about 100,000 remaining worldwide. Plantation workers and villagers in Indonesia often consider the apes pests and sometimes attack them, while poachers capture the animals to sell as pets.
And it seems to me the locals they're just so upset at the orangutans that they're just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Where it's not a problem for them.
With them, it's kind of like living in Washington State, there are animals that come into town during certain times of the year because they're looking for food.
Right.
And
kind of like your homeless population.
And unfortunately, some of them are actually considered endangered species. And so you have to question whether or not you're allowed to do anything about it.
Right.
And in Indonesia, they don't question. If you're interfering with their livelihood, they're going to kill, because that's the difference between countries, right? You know, we think about everything, whereas over there, all they care about is their food, their shelter, and where their next meal, where's the next meal coming from. So
yeah, it's a whole different lifestyle over there.
Exactly. So I feel bad. I mean, that was a cute little feller.
We talked about getting building permits and whatnot. There's a story out of California that you might take this is funny. This is really funny. A California man who was forced to shorten his fence over a neighbor's complaints got the perfect revenge by setting up a garden party of nude mannequins that is now in full view of the next door home. Jason Windus of Santa Rosa said he built the tall fence to keep his dogs in his yard. But after a neighbor complained, the city forced him to reduce the height or face a fine. Windus chopped it to a maximum of 36 inches. That is a very short fence.
Uh-oh.
Here, if you're going to have a fence, the city says it's a 6 foot above grade.
Yeah.
Which is it's reasonable. I know there's dogs out there that can leap.
Yeah.
But anyway, he cut it down to 36 inches, and then he set up 5 naked mannequins. With some of them were standing and others were seated in chairs in his yard. He goes, I don't know who it is, but I'm sure they're not going to come forward, Windus said about the protesting neighbor. And even if they do, this is just a statement for them. Maybe mind your own business a little bit. Windus is the owner of a moving company, and he's amassed the mannequins after he cleaned out a clothing store. I couldn't bring myself to throw them away. I was going to use them for target practice, he said. He set up the In the Buff life-size dolls around the table with a mannequin's severed head on it in the yard, and then he put up a sign that reads, "Reserved seat for the nosy neighbor that complained about my fence to the city." I guess the average person would get angry and be resentful. I throw a naked party in my yard, he said. He said that his display is all in fun and games, and that he's trying to be light. with what's going on.
You know,
I think that's pretty bad. I think he needs to cut his grass. Other than that, I don't have a problem with the naked mannequins in his backyard.
No.
I had to censor those mannequins a little bit.
A little, yeah, but still. I understand.
We don't need to be getting booted off of Facebook for mannequin boobs.
And Facebook loves you so much.
Oh, yes. Broadcasting live from the Mark Zuckerberg School of Love and Tolerance. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Oh, no. No, I understand the whole... the guy went and paid to have that fence put up. And to sit there and go, well, you can only have it for 3 feet up. One, he was trying to make it so the damn dogs wouldn't get out and cause harm, and you'd be complaining about those.
Well, as soon as those dogs get over the fence and kill someone's other pet or chickens or whatever, I don't know what kind of neighborhood he lives in.
Or poops in their yard.
Or poops in the yard. You are responsible for your animals.
You know, he was trying to be responsible. And to me, that he had a good sense of humor about it. I'll give him that.
Yes. And it seems, if you read a lot of the details of the story, his neighbors that he talks to, they don't have a problem with it.
So you have to wonder who really turned it in.
Really? I mean, because one of the neighbors that you're talking to is that person.
Uh-huh. Oh, no, I know. I've lived in neighborhoods like that before, and I tell you what, you just want to sit there and say, people, I have a nice high fence, so you don't have to think about me. I don't want you to think about me. I don't want you to see me. Right. I don't want to see you.
Damn.
Thank goodness where I am, we can have as high as 9 feet.
9 feet, awesome. Of course, you guys have bears to contend with as well.
Yeah, believe it or not, we do. Bears, cougars. This year or last year we actually had a deer and a mama deer and the baby in our backyard. I'm hoping it's been repeating between my yard and my neighbor's backyard.
See, when I lived in, in Montana, no fences are allowed. Unless you're fencing in your dog, then you can have a fence for your dog, but you can't fence in your yard. When I lived in Ohio, most recently, it was another thing like that. You can't have. There was a fence between the back of my property and the pond, but I couldn't erect a fence without a special permit. I couldn't erect a fence to just enclose my yard. All the yards were, we're all backed up. We're right next to the next door neighbor. All of our yards ran together, which was fine because it was absolutely beautiful there. Fences would have just ruined the view.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like to have my privacy. I mean, I'm not a nudist or anything, but I still like the thought of being able to have my, I don't want someone peering in going, "What you doing?"
Right. Yeah, I had kids on either side of me. I mean, they'd have the football games and they would spill over into the yard, and it's fine. It's really fine.
Yeah. I don't mind stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes it's just nice being able to say, I have this view and it's right there, and I'm fine with it. Well, we are at the top of the hour.
Oh, cool. I still had 2 more stories before break, but I guess we can take a break now.
I think we can.
All right. Everybody just hang out. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back.
This is Eric Stolhansky, and you're listening to WTF Nation Radio.
WTF Nation Radio.
Is there a reason for us to make this thing still necessary for me to drink my own urine? No. But I do it anyway because it's sterile and I like the taste.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
Now's not a good time to be choking on the water, Kaz. What the hell? Oh my gosh. Welcome back, everybody. Part 2 of Kicking It with Kaz here on WTF Nation Radio, broadcasting live from the Mark Zuckerberg School of Love and Tolerance. It's me, Kaz. I'm joined here by my good trusty friend Owl.
And it's me, Owl.
Hey. Spreading all the love.
Love and tolerance.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, everybody, for hanging on. Michelle saying that they have to have inspectors come out for fences.
Yes.
So our fence, I don't know what it is. Is it a? It's not a regulation. That's an Army thing, but it's not a statute because it's really not a law. It's just a guideline. If your fence is damaged and it needs to be rebuilt, it can still be wooden, but it has to have metal poles instead of the wooden 4x4s, like fences for decades have been built with, these big wooden 4x4s, and then you space those out probably 8 or 10 feet away from each other. They have to all be metal now.
Oh, jeez. I'm reading some of the comments in the room. The chat is starting to roll.
Ross is on the fence about this subject. Hey, D-Max is here. I haven't seen him in a long time.
You notice, what is it, Elena?
Elenia?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that name show up, too. Goodness.
Elena. Hoisington.
I've seen that name around here and there. And I'm trying to get Mixer to kick up a little bit. Normally they're the rowdy ones, but it looks like Facebook is outdoing them tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rotec says the liquor's kicking in, so I guess we need to be aware.
Oh, and Michelle says she's always on the fence. About what?
Sometimes being on the fence is the best place to be.
That is true. That is very true. Oh.
All right, I guess let's drive on with the show. We've got some good stories. I actually left a couple of stories on the table in the first half. If we get to them, we get to them. But we're gonna move forward with our post-break story outline.
And just so you know, Elena said you got it right.
Elena Hoisington.
Okay. A woman is behind bars after allegedly, and get this, using a T-shirt cannon. You know, the kind that shows up in all the indoor and outdoor games where they shoot those really nice T-shirts as kind of a prize. She used it to launch drugs, cell phones, and other contraband over a prison fence in Oklahoma.
What I'm wondering is how many shots did she fire?
Yeah, how many did she get away with before they caught her?
For all of the stuff she launched over that fence, man, she must have had a very good air supply. Not the band.
The Oklahoma Department of Corrections says it says the bizarre incident prompted a lockdown at the North Fork Correctional Unit about 120 miles west of Oklahoma City. The agency says authorities arrested Carrie Jo Hickman after discovering the T-shirt gun and another package in her vehicle. It wasn't clear what, if any, relationship she had to any of the inmates at the prison. The container that was launched Sunday contained cell phones, earbuds, phone chargers, methamphetamine.
Oh, you can't forget the methamphetamine.
Yeah, there you go. Digital scales, marijuana, and tobacco. Hickman remained jailed Friday on complaints of introducing contraband into a penile institution, conspiracy, and drug trafficking.
Oh,
Jail
damn.
records didn't list an attorney for her.
You're a pretty smart guy, man.
I caught that.
You caught that. I tried to trip you up a little bit because you're like if I type it, he will read it.
I've been a little bit more careful after what you did that one time. I owe you. Kaz likes to put in little words to see if I'm checking.
Well, it's worked before.
Uh-huh.
I've still got the clip somewhere of somebody slinging the sausage. He was slinging the sausage at his mom.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That's how it began.
Uh-huh.
You know that Kicking It with Kaz is celebrating its 1-year anniversary?
You know, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a year. I've been with the station ever since its birth. But this is my coming up on 1 year for the cause.
Wow. I've been with your show the whole time.
Yep.
So we're putting it. We've been putting it together for 1 year. There's something to be said for that.
And really, it's like every time I do a show, it's like, oh God, what am I forgetting? I'm doing something wrong here. Something's going to happen. It's just like every time I do a broadcast, it's like the first time. Knowing that, there is a good sense of muscle memory and just kind of going through the motions and whatever, and you're doing the right thing. But there's still that voice in the back of your head going, is he really doing the right thing?
D-Max is calling me a rookie. I'm not the rookie anymore. There's two more who are more rookie than me.
There's two more rookies, yes.
And as stands, if things go right, and we're not gonna give that away, within a couple weeks, we may actually be doing an even bigger presentation, huh?
Okay.
Oh.
What are the secrets here? Oh, you talking about the war horses?
No, I'm talking about the whole bringing both of us in picture.
Oh yeah.
We're actually going to have both of our ugly mugs up.
Yeah, like we want to drive away listeners.
There's two. Oh man.
I guess I need to.
No, I mean, gosh. we always, with the Cause Show, we always strive to keep a good quality and a good sense of humor.
Good quality, good sense of humor, and when things go bad, they go bad. My things weren't working right last night. I was up late doing this, prepping for the show. It just doesn't happen organically. I mean, you got to put a lot of work into it, and it was just.
He's not going to let you guys forget it.
I want to raise, Mom. I'd like to negotiate a. No, I'm demanding a 20% raise. 20% of zero is zero. So
exactly.
I don't think they'll have any problem with that.
I don't think so either. But we every week one or the other of us pulls it off. Next week's going to be my turn.
Next week's your turn, and you don't know this yet, but the week after that might be your turn too. I'm trying to work around that. I'm taking I am a trained storm spotter.
Oh.
And I have to go through training every year, and there's an opening for a class next Sunday at 7:00.
Next or the week after?
No, the week after. My parents are coming in this weekend, and I'm going to spend some time with them. But the week after that, I'm trying to get another class.
Okay. Well, do what you got to do. You know I'm easygoing. We'll see,
because the weather's here in Texas is pretty interesting.
Yeah, having lived in Nebraska first part of my life, it's not like it's Texas, but we definitely got our share of interesting tornadoes and winds. So
yeah, for the most part here, it's not. I mean, in the Amarillo area, you get a lot of tornadoes. Here, you get tornado type weather, but it's the straight line winds. It's the hail.
Ooh.
The hail is a bitch. I mean, it's like almost every house in my neighborhood has brand new roofs. I've got a brand new roof on this house.
Wow.
And it's not because everyone's like, hey, it's time to upgrade my roof. No, it's because it probably got damaged by a hailstorm at some point.
You know, now have you ever thought, wouldn't the metal roofing keep that from happening?
Well, it's just going to get dented like your car.
No, the metal roofing that I've seen doesn't get dented.
I've seen on my drive home, I drive through a couple of neighborhoods to get here. There, I saw one house that does have a metal roof. So it's allowed. It's not like it's not allowed.
Yeah. Just saying. I mean, that might be something to think about if it ever happens to you and you have to replace it.
So have you ever had a car wreck? I mean, a lot of people, have been driving. I mean, you've been driving around since cars were invented.
Yeah. Believe it or not, up until a couple years ago, no. But then a couple years ago, yes, 3 in a row.
3 in a row, man. That sucks, dude. I'm knocking on wood here, and yes, that's a real wood top for my desk that I made. See, the last time I said, "Well, this never happened to me," was I was in the barracks. And we were wrestling because that's what dudes do when they're drinking.
Yeah.
And while we were wrestling, I got a guy in a hole. He goes, "Hey man, you're gonna re-break my arm." And then we started talking afterwards, and I'm like, "Yeah, I've 20-something years old. I've never broken a bone."
Oh, geez.
That next night, I went to a friend of mine's wife had a birthday party out in Coppers Cove. On the way back, our sober driver, because we were responsible E4s back then, decided that he was going to take a nap while he was driving. So we ended up getting in a pretty damn serious car wreck, and I ended up I crushed my arm. So, and the night before, I was saying, "Oh, I've never broken a bone," and then that happens. But I didn't knock on wood, so I'm knocking on wood right now. I've been in car wrecks before, but none of them have been my fault. It's not like I'm driving recklessly and got in an accident.
Exactly. Mine, the 3 wrecks that I was in, none of them were my fault, but I actually got injured in 2 of them.
It sucks. So. I was in one accident at Fort Campbell. We had our laundry packed in the car, and then we threw our guns in the car. We were going to go. We're going to go and do laundry, and then we're going to hit the range on the way back, and then it's back to the apartment. We got in an accident on the way out.
Yeah.
And the car was upside down, and there's freaking washing powder like pouring into my ear, and I'm pissed off, not at the fact that we were upside down in a car, but
that you had washing powder.
I had washing powder, going into my ear. That was in Hopkins. It was in Oak Grove. It was in an apartment complex off in Oak Grove.
Oh, jeez.
What was that, gate 8?
Oh, Tyler just stepped in.
Tyler, what's up, buddy? Anyway, we were talking about car wrecks.
Yes, we were.
And a supremely rare multi-million-dollar Koenigsegg CCXR Special Edition, originally built for the Qatari royal family, was wrecked in Mexico City over the weekend. According to witness accounts and a photo posted on social media, pictures show the 249-mile-per-hour hypercar at a dead stop on the side of the Paseo de la Reforma, a major avenue that crosses through the middle of Mexico's capital. Immobilized by heavy front-end damage, jagged gaping holes can be seen in the carbon fiber bodywork. One of the rear wheels sits tilted in at a grotesque angle. Whoever wrote this article is a wordsmith. Curious onlookers gather around and they stare at the car like a crashed spaceship before it was eventually hauled away on a flatbed. Dude, jeez. That breaks my heart, dude. That is a tough looking car right there.
Isn't it? Oh, gee.
And I couldn't think of a caption. So I just said, damn.
Right?
The cause of the accident, which took place last week, hasn't been released. Though if it was a single car crash, you can bet it involved a potent combination of less than ideal road conditions, unsuitable tires, and good old-fashioned speed. This car, am I saying that right? Koenigsegg.
Tell you.
Koenigsegg CCXR Special Edition has a twin supercharged 4.8 liter V8, shoving 1,017 horsepower to the rear wheels. It's frankly impressive that the car stayed intact this long anyway. The owner of that car was reportedly uninjured. That particular car has been in the news before.
Really?
That exact car was booted. It was booted in London. It was parked in front of someplace where it shouldn't have been parked in front of, and the police came and they put a boot on the car. So you get this $1 million+ car with this big bright orange or yellow boot on it.
Jeez.
This particular car has changed hands a number of times. It did tours around the Middle East, and then it went over into Europe, and then it finally ended up in Mexico, where this guy wrecked it.
Oh, jeez. And D-Max does point out, if you look at the scene, it looks dry and sunny.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't look like there's much. It's not like it was rainy or anything.
Exactly.
He probably just punched it and lost it. There's videos like that all over YouTube.
Oh, jeez. I just can't imagine. I really can't.
Well, it seems like he would need a couple $1 million to maybe buy another one or fix that one up. I'd probably not fix that one up. I'd probably buy another one.
Well, and okay, here the insurance alone on those are special insurance companies, and you actually put quite a bit down just to insure the damn thing.
Right. I mean, especially if you're a young driver. Driving $1 million+ car. This isn't something that Allstate's going to pick up.
No, there are special insurance companies out there that will insure these type of things. But the down payment is very high,
right.
And 2, the monthly premium is outrageous.
Well, if you can afford a $1 million+ car, you probably don't have a problem paying the premiums.
Exactly.
You would think. I mean, but this is in Mexico. And that's a land of the haves and have-nots.
Yeah, I wouldn't. In Mexico, I would be advertising that I have money.
The first thing I was thinking of is, what does this guy do for a living?
Yeah.
To flaunt that kind of cash.
What does he do for a living, and what was he even thinking about?
Right. Probably trying to impress a girl, and I'm assuming the driver was a man.
You would think. Yeah, you would think. It's not. Well, we don't need to sound like we're biased or anything, but yeah, that's something that men tend to like more than women.
Yeah, and I can say I agree with Tyler. He says I'll stick with American Muscle. I'm right there with you.
You know, I am too. I even like the older vehicles. Even my pickup, it's older because it's simpler. I like the simple stuff.
I'd like a nice 70 Chevelle.
Yeah, nice car. See, there's a lot of nice old cars out there, even after Obama did the whole clunkers for cash thing.
Was that Obama? I thought Cash for Clunkers had been around for a long time.
No, that was Obama. He turned up the heat and really made it so they were giving you at least like $2,000 for something that really wasn't worth that.
I wish they'd bring that out now, because I think one of the rules was your car had to either not get great gas mileage or just be old.
Yes.
I'm driving around in a 2001 car. I mean, it's a good enough car, but there's a lot better cars out there.
Yeah. Well, the idea was to get cars off the street that were bad on emission.
Right. I don't have that problem. My car's great.
Well, yeah, you're meticulous about upkeep too.
Yes. You take care of the car, it'll take care of you.
Exactly. Again, women, this guy is Mom is taking applications. Mom and Spank are taking applications. He's single. And his daughter's soon to go into her own college room, so he'll actually have the house to himself.
So I was thinking about maybe getting a minivan like Spanky has. But I've got a relatively small garage. I don't know if A big old minivan would fit. I could make it fit, but yeah.
You could figure it out. You could tinker it.
Yeah, I could figure it out.
Well, you know, a gas station is being dubbed the luckiest spot in Michigan. We've been talking about a lot of lucky stuff, a lot of jackpots out there.
Right. Yeah, we were talking about the lottery last week.
Yeah, and the week before that, actually.
Mm-hmm.
After selling 2 winning lottery tickets in less than a month. The Michigan Lottery said the Marathon Station in Mount Clemens sold a 56-year-old Macomb County man a scratch-off ticket that turned out to be a $500,000 top prize winner.
That's awesome, dude.
Oh, no kidding, right? And then the same station sold a Royal Millions scratch-off game to a 48-year-old man that turned out to be a $4 million top prize winner. Can you imagine? $4 million.
From scratching, because you probably those scratch-offs are probably $10 or $20 a piece.
Yeah, they are.
I don't play the lottery unless it gets super huge, and I do not buy scratch-offs just because I don't. I never really go into, tell you the truth, I never really go into a supermarket. I'll go there and get gas, but I never go inside for anything.
You know, that's just it. I mean, I buy my gas and I'm using my card, and I go to the commissary to get my groceries, so I don't even really go into regular grocery stores anymore. So I kind of have to have the intent to go in. But the winner said, as soon as I saw I won $4 million, I called my wife to tell her. The latest winner said, of course, she didn't believe me, so I sent her a picture of the ticket. We're both excited and looking forward to a family vacation this summer and investing in our business.
That's awesome, man.
The lottery said this gas station might be the luckiest spot in Michigan. You know, I'm thinking there used to be a place, and I think it was another Michigan place that had that same title. They had like 4 or 5 every year that had high winners in this specific town. Not necessarily in one gas station, but the town.
I think it's the state of Michigan. We talked about a guy last week. He was from Georgia. The guy that wanted to buy 5 lottery tickets, he ended up buying 10.
Yeah.
And he ended up winning, so it doubled what he would have already won.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Allie, good to see you. That's someone I haven't seen in a while. Allie Elaine?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's Allie. She hadn't been around in a long time.
Yeah, she hadn't been around in a while.
Look at all these OG WTF Nation radio listeners coming in.
Jeez, it's good to see you.
Hey, I got a Texas story.
Do you have a Texas story?
I do.
It's about time.
I do have a Texas story, and it even comes with a little video, too. A man and a woman from Texas couldn't help but laugh as they recently walked their leashed steer into a Houston area Petco to really see if the all leashed pets are welcome at the store. To Shelley Lumpkin and Vincent Browning's surprise, the African Watusi was welcomed with open arms. Browning wrote on his Facebook page on Monday, "The staff here are always super friendly and courteous to us. We really enjoy coming to this location. Our favorite Petco by far." The post has since earned more than 400,000 views. Oliver is owned and trained by Browning for rodeos and other shows, and although it is not exactly clear how much he weighs, African Watusi bulls can reach 1,600 pounds, according to the Livestock Conservancy.
You know, that's one way to challenge the rules.
That's just awesome, man. And that bull knew exactly what the hell was going on. I mean, he's trying to walk through that door, obviously. Look at those horns, man. Too wide for the door, kind of tilted his head so he could walk through the door. That's awesome.
Jeez.
Any leashed pet is clearly allowed. Now, if you're going to bring in an alligator, I wonder if that would be a problem.
You know, remember we had that one story where the guy actually brought in or had a whatchamacallit pet that was an alligator, the therapy pet.
Yeah, yeah. He had it was a, what did they call that? It was for, I think he was suffering from PTS from something. Emotional support alligator.
Yeah. I'd like to see him bring that.
But even he knew that his alligator could actually do some harm to people, so he took the proper precautions.
Yeah.
But if you and I do remember some of the pictures I showed with that, all of the bottom doors in his kitchen were ripped off. Mm-hmm. Now I don't know if he removed them or if the alligator decided that he didn't like them.
Oh, hey, Kaz, Allie mentioned you. I'm here with, she's there with her mother who's not doing so well. She was awake and heard Kaz and asked me to turn it up.
Oh.
She used to listen to you back in the day.
Oh, wow. Allie, I hope your mom's feeling better.
So.
Hello, Mama Allie. Hope you're getting better.
People remembering you. You've been around a while.
I am kind of, I've been around the block a couple of times.
A couple times. You don't look quite as rough as me, but you're getting there.
No, I've been working out. Not really. So I got with this next story, I guess I can put my little poll question out here.
Yes.
There's no right or wrong answer. We can discuss it if you'd like. Yeah, ready.
Okay. A Reddit user recently posted a seemingly innocent question, and it blew up into one of the greatest debates of our time. How many chuggas are you supposed to say before choo-choo? I've always said 2, but now my kid is saying 3. A user wrote, excuse me, however, my kid's preschool teacher says 1, and it pisses me off that there aren't enough chuggas for a chew.
You have to have the proper amount of chuggas.
Exactly. How's the train supposed to go anywhere without enough chuggas? The question immediately sparked some pretty fervent responses. One of the most popular comments cited the importance of the Batman theme song in their particular situation. My rule's in the same number of chuggas as we do for the Batman cartoon theme song. A user wrote, na 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 Batman.
That would be far too many chuggas if you're going chugga 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 choo choo.
Exactly. Soon after this comment was made, the consensus seemed to be that 8 was the optimal number of chuggas for perfect chugga choo choo proportions.
I think the chugga preceding the choo choo should be a multiple of 4. I'm sorry, a multiple of 2.
Yes.
No greater than 8.
I think I agree with that. Others felt 8 chuggas was way too many, and for the sake of brevity, 4 was sufficient.
I think 4 is a good one. Chugga 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 choo choo.
You sit there and chugga 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 woo woo.
I was wondering why my graphic wasn't changing because I didn't choose it.
Oops.
See? My first day on the job.
We all have them. I was notorious for, I have one little check mark in my sound area in my computer that I have to undo if people want to hear music during the break. And I was notorious for not checking it. And everybody's going, where's the break music?
I can hear it in my ear. Why is everyone yelling at me?
Yeah, really.
I've done that before.
Oh. Okay. So, yeah, that just things like that. I think it's fun to think about. I mean, we've brought up different things about little hilarities that you don't think about. Like, what was it? Over or under toilet paper.
The toilet. It's obviously over. There should be no discussion.
The fact that there was actual patent paperwork showing how to set it up.
Right. we do have an old listener. She does it under.
Mm-hmm.
And for good reason. Pets in the house and kids.
Oh yes.
But then I would counter it with the actual engineering drawing for the toilet paper roll. And then I see videos of toilet paper being, it's off the roll, and it's like going across the bathroom, down the hallway, into the other room, and there's a dog lying on its dog bed, playing with the toilet paper.
Uh-huh.
One of my first, go ahead.
Did you see what Allie just posted?
No.
She's getting married.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Allie. That's great. Go ahead. I wanted to say that.
Well, good. I'm happy for you, Allie. One of the first dogs that I had was a Jack Russell Terrier, and my wife at the time, we had gone to Six Flags. So we didn't have a crate, and we didn't really have a way to lock the dog up. So we put it in the bathroom, put some papers on the floor, and we're like, okay, we're only going to be gone a few hours. He'll be fine. Mm-hmm. Or it was a she. It was a Jack Russell Terrier named Cheeto. We came back, and the bathroom was destroyed. All of the toilet paper was off the roll, and it was torn to bits on the floor. It was funny. It was funny. I mean, you can't be mad at a dog for that. And I don't think it would have mattered which direction the toilet paper was hung on that roll. It was coming off.
I've been lucky enough the cats I have right now haven't played that game. I had a cat that actually used to play that game of unrolling, and it does help if you change the way it rolls.
Yeah.
It does. Until they decide that that's not good enough, and then they sink their teeth in.
Well, the thing, I'm a single dude, so I don't even use the toilet paper roll holder.
No.
It just sits on the back on the tank.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you just use your fingers.
No, dude, that's nasty. No, I just it just sits on the back of the tank. So we're both members of Team Old.
That we are. And
the doctors used to say you need to take some maintenance medicine to keep yourself from having a stroke. Even my dad, the doctor's like, well, you want to die? You want to die of a heart attack, or you want to die of a stroke? But now, if you're a healthy older adult looking for ways to reduce your risk of a heart attack and stroke, don't turn to that age-old standby, the daily low-dose aspirin. It's no longer recommended as a preventative for older adults who don't have a high risk of existing heart disease, according to the guidelines announced by the American College of Cardiology and the American Heart Association. So this isn't coming from us. This is coming from the American Heart Association. For the most part, we are now much better at treating risk factors such as hypertension, diabetes, and especially high cholesterol, said cardiologist Dr. Kevin Campbell. This makes the biggest difference, probably negating any previously perceived aspirin benefit in primary prevention. Let me decipher that. Doctors know more now about what's going on with your body that you don't need to take your daily maintenance medicine of low-dose aspirin.
Exactly.
Doctors may consider aspirin for certain older high-risk patients, such as those who have trouble lowering their cholesterol or managing their blood sugars, as long as there is no increased risk for internal bleeding. European guidelines, I did not know this, European guidelines recommend against the use of anti-clotting therapies such as aspirin at any age. Personally, doctors say that they would advocate a healthy lifestyle, smoking cessation, and risk factor modification before even considering aspirin therapy in a patient without a known cardiovascular disease. However, for anyone who has had a stroke, a heart attack, open heart surgery, or stents inserted to open clogged arteries, aspirin can be life-saving. Ultimately, we must individualize treatment for each patient based on their individual situation.
And that's exactly right. They used to say, and up until recently, they were saying, oh, you need to take an aspirin once you get up in age. But anymore, they've realized that because medication has come such a long way, it's smarter not to do that because it actually can cause complications if something were to happen.
It can, especially if there's a risk of internal bleeding. I get that. Aspirin will thin your blood, and you'll bleed like a stuck pig. Exactly.
Oh, Tyler wants to know if because he had a heart attack, he's considered part of Team Old.
No, but it's maybe a step in the right direction. I really don't know what the minimum requirements for Team Old are.
Oh, and Allie says she did not recognize your new living space.
Yeah, I bought a house. I bought a house. It's probably where we met. She was down here for a grunt fest, and her and Spanky and I think Minx went. A bunch of folks went down to. I think it was in San Antonio. Anyway, she stopped by. We got. I took her out to a Mexican restaurant, and she got sick. It was awesome. Anyway, I'm probably 30 miles west of that area.
Okay. During the time when what was it? Minx thought she had nuclear eggs.
That was in the nuclear egg incident was in Phoenix.
Okay.
We went to a. That's when we got awarded the best veteran radio.
Yeah.
And it was a late night, so we all went on the way back to the hotel. We went to Denny's, and she had an issue with the eggs.
That's right. Oh. AL1 Como says to be Team Old, you need to have served in a year starting with 19.
That's fair.
I think that's fair.
I enlisted in 1988.
I enlisted. Well, I was delayed entry, so I was actually in 1981. Yeah. 10 days after I graduated high school.
I had made the decision. I didn't know I wanted to join the military until I joined the military.
Well, you had to sign the dotted line before you joined.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't. I was in college, and it was just like, how the hell am I going to pay for all this? I didn't qualify for any scholarships or anything like that. I lived away from the house, so I didn't have mom and dad to help me, and I was kind of an asshole kid, so I moved out because I knew everything.
Gotcha.
And so I joined in Elgin, Illinois, and our recruiting station. There were one after another. You had Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and then Coast Guard. And I went to the Marines. I wanted to be a Marine, so I went to the Marine Corps recruiter, and he's like, "Great, come on in, sign this paper." And I'm like, "Okay, what's my job going to be?" And he goes, "Nah, we'll let you know." I'm like, no, that's thanks, but no thanks. I wasn't sold on the Air Force. I didn't really want to go into the Army because I didn't like their Class B uniform. I walked by and I'm like, these guys look like dorks. No. And then I didn't want to go to the Navy because of the damn bell bottoms. Really, I was very, very superficial type.
I see this.
So, but I ended up going back to the Army, and they were going to give me. I scored high enough on the ASVAB. They were just like, you can have any job you want.
Nice.
So I was like, all right, let's do this. And then off to MEPS I went, and the rest is history.
Tyler's saying he was born in 1988.
Awesome. Yeah, I graduated in 87, and I joined in 88.
Oh, jeez.
And my daughter just joined in 2019.
That's right. Very proud, Papa.
Very, very proud.
Speaking of superficial, luxury brand Gucci is making waves online with a $870 pair of distressed sneakers designed to look like they are already dirty. The screener sneakers available on Gucci's website have been treated for an all over distressed effect. The company offers special instructions for cleaning real dirt off the shoes without harming the faux dirt. The shoes are also available in a high top style for $930, as well as versions with a removable Art Deco Gucci crystal chain for $1,590.
When I found this on the Neiman Marcus website, this little ad, so I did like a little screen capture, and that's the ad for the shoe. As I was doing that little crop of that picture there, I got a pop up. It says this item. 4 of these have been sold in the last hour. This item is moving fast, and I'm thinking that's a bunch of garbage.
I cannot see anybody. A dirty tennis shoe. Come on.
Well, it's almost like Yeezy jeans and the Yeezy brand of clothing.
Yeah.
Those things, I mean, you get ripped up, torn up. I mean, jeans with holes in it just all over the place.
To the point where they almost look like they're G-strings.
Right. I mean, thousands of dollars for a pair of jeans like that. My daughter had a pair of I asked her what she wanted for Christmas. My youngest daughter. I asked her what she wanted for Christmas, and she sent me a link to her. It's like a wish list for Urban Outfitters. And she had several pairs of jeans there, and these are like $300-400 jeans. And I'm like, no. I'm not gonna go broke to prove that I love you.
That's where you say, you ever heard of Costco?
I'm such a cheap ass when it comes to clothes. I always have been. There's a pair of sneakers that I like, and I get them from Amazon. I know what size I have. I just click reorder. Boom. It's like $40. Jeans, dude, I get my jeans from the $10 rack at Walmart.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, I don't see a need to peacock these expensive clothes. I mean, if you are who you are, putting on something all special and dressy doesn't make you a better person.
No, it's not. I'm not the guy with the latest fashion.
Same here. I mean, everybody's seen me. I got my good old military haircut still.
I've had my hair short since the day I got out of the service. I used to hate having to get a haircut every couple of weeks when I was in the Army. And then now that I'm out, I'm like, no, this is all right. I like this.
I got tired of I kept my hair short the whole time in the Army. I really didn't like having to constantly go and get a haircut every week, so I got it as short as I could. And then when I got out, I actually went and let my hair grow to long enough to where I actually had a ponytail that could be braided.
Damn. I could not picture you. I know what you look like. I couldn't picture you with that long ass hippie hair.
And I also had a beard that looked a ZZ Top beard that went down to my mid chest. That was me when I first got out.
Do you have any pictures?
I do somewhere. I'd have to go look for them.
Hey, you want to jump back to that accidental what do they call the premature ejection?
Oh, jeez.
Page 6.
Page 6. Hold on, I'm getting there. Scroll.
What?
And
You got to do it old school, man. I print these things out.
There we go. Here we go. A 64-year-old civilian passenger was accidentally ejected from a French Air Force twin-seat fighter jet as the aircraft was taking off from Saint-Dizier Air Base. The backseater is said to be a man. He suffered serious injuries, including back injuries, and was hospitalized. He reportedly is in stable condition, and his health is not a cause of concern. The incident occurred as the aircraft was taking off for a training mission. The pilot managed to land the aircraft with minor injuries to his hands caused by the broken canopy. What happened is pretty weird. VIPs and journalists are often invited to take part in orientation flights for communication or information purposes. Passenger for a day is always given a detailed briefing that covers standard cockpit operation, emergency procedures, and egress, etc. You are clearly explained what to touch and what you should not touch in the cockpit. The injection seat handle is one of those things you should be aware of.
Don't even look at that thing. Know where it is. Don't touch it. You're not allowed.
Exactly.
You're not allowed to have anything. It is you. It is you in your flight suit sitting in the seat, and I'm going to do the buckle for you. Don't touch anything. Just hold on. If you pass out, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't touch anything, period. There is no what you can touch. Just don't touch anything.
Yeah. Anyway, we have no clue what activated the ejection. It might have been a voluntary ejection, an involuntary one, or even a failure. Even though modern ejection seats are extremely reliable and malfunctions are extremely rare. You know, that I can't imagine, because the force that those seats had. You've talked about that, haven't you?
I've probably mentioned it. I've never taken a ride in an ejection seat.
Oh no.
But yeah, that'll compress your spine. That causes more problems than. I mean, at least you're not going to die in a fiery ball if the aircraft decides to go down, but you're going to have back problems.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to cause you harm. So yeah, that just I can't imagine, because I think the procedure is actually not so easy to where you could do it by mistake. So makes no sense. But hey, there's a Florida man story in everywhere, right?
We do have a Florida man story. This isn't a funny Florida man story. This is actually kind of sad.
Yes.
But it's really one of the things that it's always on my mind when I'm working on my car. A Florida man was killed over the weekend after the car that he was working on fell on top of him. Amir Izzo Yassin, age 38, was found by his roommate on Sunday afternoon outside their home in Big Pine Key in Florida. The roommate told deputies that he had left the home around 10 a.m. on Sunday, and he returned after 5 p.m. He found Yassin under his 2013 Hyundai Genesis that was being lifted by a hydraulic jack. A deputy said one of the jacks apparently fell, causing the car to crush Yassin. Lionheart said his roommate tried to pull Yassin out from under the car, and then he called 911. Foul play is obviously not expected, or it is not suspected.
You know,
that's always on my mind. So whenever I jack up my car, I've got a set of jack stands.
Yeah. And, you know, that's something that you don't think about much these days. I used to hear about that all the time when I was a kid, how someone was under their car and a jack gave out, or jack tipped over. I mean, because people used to do their own stuff on their cars a lot back
right
then. And so, you know, people who weren't regular mechanics didn't always have proper jacks, or the jacks were old and the hydraulics would go out on them. And that was always a concern. Funny part is, I used to do all the work on my truck. And because my truck is a 4x, I never had to worry about that.
No, you just crawl under the car.
Exactly.
You can actually sit in a lawn chair underneath your truck.
Not quite that bad, but yeah, I can get on a crawler and go all the way from front to back and not touch a single part of my truck.
Yeah, I've got. I do have a couple of floor jacks. One started leaking, so rather than break it apart and fix it, I threw it in the trash, and I bought another one.
Don't want to take a chance.
I'm not taking a chance on anything, dude.
Yeah,
it's always in the back of my mind. You know, I'm always looking. Okay, the jack. I didn't accidentally kick the jack stand, and it's not where it should be. I mean, it's.
Yeah, and that's always a concern for me too. Well, you know what? It is joke time for you.
It is joke time. I always like to end the show with a joke. They're funny to me. I hope you guys find them funny. So here we go. A mathematician, a physicist, and an engineer were all given identical rubber balls. and told to find its volume. They're giving anything they want to measure it, and they have all the time that they need to come up with an answer. The mathematician pulls out the measuring tape and he records the circumference. He then divides by 2 times pi to get the radius, cubes that, multiplies by pi again, and then multiplies by 4/3 and thereby calculates the volume. The physicist gets a bucket of water. He places 1.00000 gallons of water in the bucket. He drops in the ball, and he measures the displacement to 6 significant digits. And the engineer, he writes down the part number and the serial number of the ball, and he looks it up. Right?
Right.
You don't have to make things difficult. I don't have a graphic for this for next week's show, which you're going to do. I'm going to be here, but my parents are going to be in town, so I'm going to be spending time with them. They're going to be making a journey from the upper middle of the country down to the great state of Texas, and yes. I want to make sure that their time is well spent, and I don't have to do these things. This is fun, but I don't see my parents very much. I don't think I've seen my parents in probably 3 years.
Yeah.
They helped me move into my last apartment. I went to work and they moved my entire apartment to the new apartment. That was the last time I saw them. So anyway, next, say again?
So you're looking forward to it.
I'm absolutely looking forward. I actually thought it was this weekend, but they had some weird stuff going on in their house. And my mom wasn't happy when I told her this, but I told her that she probably built the house because this is a brand new built house. Yeah. I told them they probably built it on top of an Indian burial ground. My mom was ironing, and her iron started shooting sparks, and it burned up. And she was just thinking, "Oh, I need a new iron." So she unplugged it, threw it in the trash, and then my dad went to go warm something up in the microwave, and the microwave would turn on for like 20 seconds, and it would shut itself off, and throw these error codes out there saying that the fan, one of the cooling fans wasn't running. Then they started to do a load of dishes, and the dishwasher would not shut off. It's like all of this weird electrical stuff started happening in the house. So they're having people come out to diagnose and to fix that problem. Anyway, maybe I'll keep you updated on that one. But yes. Next Sunday, you're going to have a guest. Chris Heflin from the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association is going to be with us. The Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association is an association of combat veterans from all branches of the United States Armed Forces who ride motorcycles as a hobby. Their mission is to support and defend those who have defended our country and our freedoms. Their focus is on our fellow veterans and active service members. It may involve helping a veteran care facility provide a warm meal, clothing, shelter, or simply to say thank you and welcome home. Okay. So that'll be next week. That'll be a good show. And War Horses for Veterans, there's not a show that goes by that I don't mention War Horses for Veterans. They're a three-day equine and networking experience. Veterans will have the opportunity to bond with the horses as well as each other in a safe and comfortable country environment. War Horses for Veterans provides veterans with a peaceful break from everyday life challenges, giving them a chance to have quality time to clear their minds, share stories in a judgment-free space, and enjoy some of the best food in the Midwest. War Horses for Veterans' commitment to combat veterans go beyond a weekend experience. They introduce you to a network of people able and willing to support you long after the uniform comes off, all in the spirit of community. This experience costs how much? $0 for the veteran. Everything from airfare to lodging. All meals and transportation are also taken care of. Visit them at warhorsesforveterans.com, or you can check them out on Facebook. Just go facebook.com/warhorsesforveterans.
There you go.
So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate you all being here. I actually saw some old buddies, old Army buddies, popping in and popping out again. If he's still here, what's up, Kevin? Kevin Andrew. We used to call him Brew.
Okay.
We drank lots of beer together.
Uh-huh. If only we could get him to tell us some stories.
I'm sure he would be more than willing. Oh, let me publish the results for the that little poll there. How many chuggas need to precede choo-choo? And the 75% went to 2 chuggas. While 25% of the respondents said 4 chuggas. Nobody had 8 chuggas, and absolutely nobody had 1 chugga.
All right, then. You all take care, everybody. It's good to see you, and have a good week. And hopefully we will see you back next week.
Oh, yeah. We'll see you next week. Tomorrow night, we got the Monday edition with Ice. Tuesday is Tied Up Tuesday with Minx. Hopefully she won't be on call. That's what happens. She works in a she's a surgical tech, so she's on call a lot. So sometimes she won't have a show, even though it's scheduled and everybody's on the line to go. Okay, we got some Tied Up Tuesday coming, and then it just doesn't happen. Well, sometimes those things do happen.
Yes.
So that's our Tuesday show, and then Wednesdays are Donza Day. Thursday, Sergeant's Time with Ice. Tinfoil Times is coming back on Saturdays. I don't know what date it's coming back, but that's with Jay Reddy and Pookie and Mulder. That's all conspiracy stuff. And then Sundays at 2000 hours Eastern, we're here with Kicking It with Kaz. So I hope you guys have a great week. It's going to be good. It's going to be 85 freaking degrees this week. We're supposed to have storms, but I don't think that's going to happen.
You enjoy that.
Oh, I will. I love a good thunderstorm. Ask Kevin Andrew. We used to hang out in front of the barracks and just watch all the storms come in. Anyway,
he said, how about someone riding in the back of a pickup to a popular beach?
Oh gosh, we did that so many times. We went Belton Lake, or we went down to Galveston. Was it Galveston or Corpus? Just any reason to get away from the barracks, especially on the 4-day weekends. Guadalupe River was a very popular destination for a 4-day. And we had the 300 Club. Oh my gosh, memories.
Taking them down memory lane.
Hell
everybody.
yeah! All right, everybody, you have a good night, and we'll see you soon.
Here's a shot out of a cannon. Oprah, Barbara Walters, your wife. You gotta fuck one, marry one, kill one. Go.
I think we're done here. Thank you.
Disney.
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 Radio.